I didn't set the camera settings. Let's see. Why did I do that? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. Okay, can Brent comment? How do I comment? Good morning. Hey, Dad. Spoiler alert, it ran. Maybe we'll fire it up later on. Yesterday, I'll give you the lowdown after the compressor shuts off. And if you'll notice, I'm streaming horizontally today. Just wanted to make a couple of comments about that before we get started. I've just been experimenting with streaming vertically and horizontally, and just YouTube through their creator portal. What is it called? YouTube Studio or something. It gives you the video analytics and your channel analytics, and just looking at the views that I get a lot more views streaming vertically, but it seems people check in, watch for 30 seconds, and then they're done. So the actual people viewing, I don't think it is making a difference. You're either here to watch or you're not here to check it out. So I find it better for the demographic and age group I'm not targeting, but that are most likely to watch this kind of content, that horizontally is probably the way to go, because the numbers are sort of irrelevant. The experiment was just to see what is actually effective, and it's not about chasing clicks or numbers. It's again, I need to know. And so I think the vertical streaming, I see the value in it, but for this kind of content, I think the horizontal view is better. As well, for me, I think there's a way for me to engage with the comments. I just don't know how. So yeah, I'll probably be streaming mostly in horizontal going forward, and as well with standalone videos. Those are better shot, I find, in horizontal. So, but anyways, yesterday was another scorching hot day here, and it didn't make for good live streaming because I was just soaked and sweating like a horse. It was so hot the cats weren't even in the mood to fight with each other. Everybody was just trying to keep chill. But what I ended up doing is I got the tractor fired up with the battery that we installed the other day, and I just ran it a short amount of time. It started off smooth and then started getting rough. What I had done too, I had ran some carb cleaner through the fuel line and then up through the bowl. So there was a little bit of some kind of caking in the bowl, and so some watery gasoline drained out of there. So yeah, you're gonna have a hard time starting any infernal combustion engine on water. So so once the fresh gasoline started getting to the carb and filling the bowl, it started up pretty easily. And so I ran it and then dropped the loader to raise the front wheel off the ground, because I just wanted to get the weight of the tractor off the tire and try to fill the tire with air. The tube, it's got an inner tube, and it was just leaking like crazy. So I ended up pulling that tire off, or pulling the whole wheel off. It was just 5 bolts, 5/8. There was really nothing to see there. And then I got the inner tube out. So I can explain how I did that. And it's super simple. I just used a farm jack, broke the bead on the on both sides of the tire so I could get at the inner tube. And I just basically found a nice spot on the loader, put the tire on the ground and the jack on top, and then just jacked against the tractor, and then the lower foot of the jack pops the bead and it just comes off super easy. And then I fished the tube out, and I need my phone to show you a picture. Let me go find my other phone. Just hang tough here for a second. Sorry, I thought I had everything set up ready to go. So I took a picture of it for you all to see the carnage there. Where is it? So there was a big slash in the inner tube, and I can't explain how that got there, because there's nothing sharp on the inside of the rim. The tire itself had all its integrity, so it's a little bit of a mystery to me as to why that happened. So let's just see how. So what I did, we'll go over to the tire in a second. I took the inner tube out, obviously, and I tried a patch. Now, I don't have a lot of confidence that this is actually going to work. Just going to see if we're actually still live here. Come on, you can do it. Why you don't play? What's happening here? Let's try this. Okay, we're somewhat live. Good morning, Illuminati. Lateral warfare is inferior to... I don't want to be burning glucose in my tractors. But, I get what you're saying here. So yeah, I put a rubber patch on the tube, and so we're gonna put some air in it. Again, I don't have a ton of confidence that this is gonna work. I think I'm gonna be replacing that tube, but you never know. So we'll fill that up, and if it holds air, we'll reinstall the tube and put the tire back on the rim, and maybe we'll put the wheel back on the tractor. Although I think I didn't lift it very high because the tire was flat on the bottom. I just put the loader down enough so I could wiggle that tire off. So I might have to try to start the tractor again to jack it up higher. I do have a screw jack there though, but it's tough to lift that front end of the tractor just with a jack. All right, so let's go over to the tire and see if it's gonna hold any air. And I'm doing this in the morning because, yeah, yesterday I was just uncomfortably warm out here trying to do any work, and there was a lot of back and forth. So here's I want to get this live streaming done before it gets hot again. It's supposed to be pretty warm today. So it was a pretty big slash, about this, you know, 1.25 inches long or so. We'll see if this does it. Well, it's actually holding air. That's not bad. Just gonna go get some soapy water. So there's nothing bubbling up on the tire in the tube. Well, let's maybe try to reinstall this, see if it's gonna do the trick. I just want to be able to get it on the trailer. So maybe you've seen these kind of valve stem caps. So it's got the little tool at the end where you can remove the valve stem. Just unscrews. Air out. How's everybody's long weekend been going? Yesterday was kind of a recovery day. Tried not to overdo it because of the heat. I think I only drank about 4 or 5 cups of coffee yesterday. So I discovered this refreshing new drink. It helped with the heat. It's called plain water. So I was drinking water like crazy. All right, so we're gonna see. Let's see what you can see here. Stuff the tube back in. Tricky part is getting the valve stem back through the hole in the rim. Okay, two lined up right there. Got that through. I'm going to put the valve stem back in so I don't forget. The technical name for this is a Schrader valve. It's essentially a one-way valve for air. All right, and then it's just a matter of wiggling that tire back onto the rim. So it's essentially the same process to install as to uninstall. So you need a couple of tire irons or spoons. Just gently work your way around. Definitely not a tire guy, so. Just go bit by bit. Easy it on there. Careful not to pinch the tube inside. I'm suspecting that may have been what happened last time, but the thing was holding air for a month or two. And then after it was parked, that's when it went flat. Whew! Can taste that coffee. Almost there. So the trick here is your rim has this groove in it. You want your tire sitting in the shallowest part, because if it was sitting up here on the high part of the rim, I'd never get this on. So it's almost ready to slip on. There you go. Let's air this up. See what happens. Make sure the tube isn't pinched in there somewhere. All looks good. I'm gonna need a pair of pliers to hold that stem. Oh. Wasn't expected. I'm still here. Are you still with me? Now what happened? All right, that was weird. But that's what we expect on this channel anyway. Move the gas tank clean? No, that's a job and a half. I don't have time for that. So let's get this tire dealt with. Talk about the rest of everything. I just want to hold this out here like this as we air it up. And the beads will just pop themselves right back on. Let's see what kind of PSI we got here. Nothing. Okay, let's get going. No idea what the maximum PSI is on this. I imagine these very high pressure. Okay, so we put 20 PSI on it. We'll let it sit for a little bit, come back and check it. And there you have it. So removing the tires is the same process. Once the bead is broken, you get your iron under the rim, pop up one side, and then get your second iron and work your way around. I mean, that's fairly straightforward, but for those who don't know, I mean, I would have liked to have shown that on camera, but I say it was just a filthy day here yesterday, filthy hot. I think I went through, well, on Saturday I went through 4 or 5 t-shirts and at least a couple of pairs of underwear, just sweating my way through the weekend. Yesterday I was just walking around without a shirt. That wouldn't have been good YouTubing either. I would have to rename the channel the Sasquatch Chronicles or something. So let's see what the chatters are up to here. Get myself set up. Got your cup of coffee? Mine, that's still semi-warm. So yeah, that was the cheap fix, whatever the tire repair kit cost. I mean, I've got tire repair kits like crazy, but for whatever reason, that rubber cement that comes with the kit, it dries out. It virtually evaporates. So I went, because I had patches, I just needed the rubber cement. And all my rubber cement tubes were just full of air. So what are we doing here? Give me a chance to set up my, whatever it is I'm doing here. And we'll check out the discussion. So yeah, gonna be another smoking hot day today. And so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this tractor because I know it's gonna run to get on the trailer. I'm just debating whether I should stick it on the trailer myself and run it over to the auction, or just let my other guy do it. Because there's another big steel frame to go to the auction that's massive. It's like 10 feet wide by 16 feet long, 8 by 8 tube steel. And we were all gonna do it all in one load. And I can't pull that or load that thing onto this trailer that I've got that I'm borrowing. So, but it would be easier to load the tractor onto this trailer instead of his trailer. So, let's save that. And the other thing, YouTube related, changing topics. I don't know how to get chat replay on after the stream is over. It's all checked off. There's nothing to show you, it's all checked off. So let's open this live stream so I can see the chat. Because I could keep working on this tractor for a month, just making improvements, but it's got to go as is. So I'm not rinsing the gas tank out. That's the next guy's problem. So it just needs to run. All right, it's an auction. I'm taking a chance. I might get 200 bucks for it. I might get 5,000 bucks for it. I don't know. The price of these kind of tractors kind of fluctuates. It all depends on when they're in demand. But people are willing to let them go for it. I was looking at some tractors last summer, and I could have got a decent tractor with a loader for like $1,000. And I was ready to go look at it. And the guy said, well, I kind of promised it to another guy. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, you need to mark your ad as pending, you know? Otherwise, don't waste my time, and I won't waste yours. All right, let's get this show on the road here. So let's go. Let's see here. So I'll go all the way back to the top of the chats here if I can. Everyone at the live stream, welcome. What's the matter, you? I think the water was in the bowl, just condensation, freeze thaw cycles, and the humidity in the air. Because I never ran premium gas in this, it just straight gas. So the ethanol gas, that ethanol is hydroscopic, which means it attracts water. So it literally pulls water out of the air. But again, that's what that sediment bowl is for. It's supposed to collect any water. The gas that was in there didn't look watery though. But whatever may have been in the bowl, because I didn't drain the bowl when I parked it. So this doesn't look like there's anything to that rim. Where's the axle plug in? There's, I believe this, it's not quite a bud rim, but there's just 5 clips that screw into, well, I'll show you after. We'll see if it's holding air and then we could try to reinstall it. But over there, that's where I tend to lose the live stream. So always put fuel stablers there in the tank, clean the spark plugs, put new ones, trickle charge the battery when I get my mower ready. Where's the axle plug in? Okay. Nothing working here. Took me 2 weeks trying to get her mower going. Turned out it was a bunch of gunk in the gas tank. Yep. Yeah, I've cleaned out carbs. Spent way too long trying to diagnose stuff, and then you find out it's just water in the gas tank, water in the fuel line, and no matter how hard you try, these gas powered motors just don't want to run on that dioxide. Yeah, I haven't serviced in 20, filter with sludge. Yeah, last fall, like I was using the tractor to scrape out kind of the barnyard where the animals were. The manure had piled up or had been building up over 2 years. I hadn't scraped. I didn't have time in 2023 to scrape because it was a frantic push before, as the snow was falling, I was still getting my hay bales delivered. I think they were delivered after the ground had already frozen. I didn't do anything with it till springtime, unless it was do anything with it till springtime, unless it was a mild enough winter that I could have dealt with it. But winter was not conducive to that this last winter. You need to learn the trick this last winter. You need to learn the trick for getting the rim back on where you spray carb cleaner. The tubeless tire, yeah, it's because if it's a tubeless tire and the bead is not tire bead is not sitting snug against the rim, no matter how much air you put in there, it's just gonna escape out the rim. Sometimes you get lucky and just the compressed air will give it that little jolt. There's also those tanks that you can use that rapidly fill the pinch the tube a bit there. We'll see. I think I got it butter submerged for 15 minutes. I'll be waiting to see your live wrenching streams, see how, like, would it submerge it in the kitchen sink? Where do I submerge it? There's no river or lake around here. I'm still convinced I'm gonna have to put a new tube in there, but we'll see if this holds. It's just got to get to the auction. Clean the gas tank out with lard. Chat disconnected. Okay. Yeah, I got a tick. Lots of ticks around here. So yeah, after this coffee break, this extended coffee break, we'll take a walk over to the tractors and I'll show you how that wheel mounts up on the axle. Cleaning the gas tank with lard, that's a YouTube hack I have not come across yet. So I'm going to reserve judgment, but remain skeptical about that. Land O'Lakes butter. Sponsor what's? Hey, see, Dad's talking some sense here. The poo scraping store. Oh, poo scraping. Well, I scraped up the poo and made a big pile of poo. So it's not quite Dookie Diaper Mountain per se. It is a poo mountain of sorts, but it's how do you call it? It's future soil. So another little farming lesson as an aside, since you brought it up. Yeah, you go for a walk over there, but I think the live stream will cut out because let's see. Actually, can I do this? Oh no, the cover's on the back. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. Okay, so you see that the truck and then the barn behind it. The manure is behind the barn, and that's way too far to try to take you guys for a walk. The stream will definitely cut out. So there's got to be about 20 or 30 yards, maybe more, of good, fairly seasoned manure, because it was, again, I said it was 2 years of buildup. And so it was composting anaerobically, meaning without oxygen. So the bacteria and the what do you call them? The microorganisms. There's a 50-cent word you can. The microorganisms that thrive in an anaerobic, meaning no oxygen environment, they're working on that stuff. And then when I scrape it and pile it, well, you're turning it, churning it, so you're introducing oxygen. So now you've got aerobic composting taking place. So there's a different process. So it's kind of neat how nature works. And there was a video I did. Let's just wait for that compressor to shut off. I was gonna go shut it off. I did a couple of weeks ago, just a morning chat talking about farming principles and stuff in general, but it's really mimicking nature. And the Joel Salatin method, where you're pasturing animals, you know, you've got the grazers, you know, your cows, your sheep, your goats. They're depositing their carbon-rich manure, and then the birds come in after the flies have laid eggs in that fresh poops. And so once the eggs are ready to be harvested by the birds, they scrape through and they peck out all those delicious little fly larvae and fly eggs. And so you're allowing the poop to compost anaerobically for a little bit. Then in this case, in my case, using domesticated animals, you got chickens scraping through that, spreading it all out, and then over time that settles again. So it's kind of a combination going from anaerobic to aerobic, anaerobic to aerobic, and then eventually I scrape it up, pile it up, and then you just let it season, mature, continue to compost. You turn it every once in a while, every year or two. If you want really superb soil, you know, it could be a 10-year process, but it's like this investment, because you either spread that out on your fields and get richer topsoil, or you use it on your garden. So yes, I'm going to be eating the poo eventually in my veggies, because my veggies will be eating the nutrients that come out of that poo, which has been magically transformed into the soil through alchemy. And so it's quite a wondrous process. So and yeah, the birds, they as they're pecking and scratching through the poos, they're pooing as well, and their poo is very rich in urea, which is nitrogen based. And so so you need all those components to make good quality soil, so you get and good composting occurring. It's not just the carbon, you need the nitrogen as well, and the oxygen, and then hydrogen comes from water. You know, as it gets rained on, that moisture is like a solvent almost that contributes to the process. So fascinating stuff, soil chemistry. Much better than just spraying fertilizers on top of the soil and hoping it soaks in enough to get your corn to come up. That's some good poo right there. So yeah, it all comes down to poo. When you think about it, we're all made, we're all made of poo. We're all fed by poo in some way or another. Well, I guess you've got the synthetic poo, right? The synthetic fertilizers. So that's a form of shit in its own right. I mean, I've been to fields where you pick up, you know, commercial farmers that are growing the canola and soy and corn type crops, and they're just depleting the soil. You pick up a handful of soil and it's almost like sand. Like there's no structure to it. There's no organic material. It's just deprived of all nutrition. And they call that topsoil. But the solution is to just spray it with chemical from above. And then, because those chemicals feed the roots of whatever crop you're growing, and just call it a day. Whereas the regenerative strategy, it takes time. So maybe in this economy, time is the one thing that gets sacrificed in the name of productivity, production, uh, yield. I mean, my buddy's an organic, he was certified organic, and he didn't spray any chemical. And all the farmers around him, he's about 40 miles away from me, uh, they would laugh at him. It's like, but he would get a premium on his cereal crops because you could charge more for organic, most certainly, and there's a market for it. But on a tough year, I mean, I've seen him. I've known him for maybe almost 5 years, 4 years for sure. You know, I've seen him have some bad years, and I've seen him have some really good years. But all the farmers around him, all they talk about is yield. How many bushels per acre? Bushels per acre. Bushels per acre. So, organic is you're not going to be able to compete in the bushels per acre category, but it's the end product and the satisfaction knowing you did it in a natural way. So he's actually been thinking it's not worth it to do the organic anymore, just because a bad year can really cause a lot of stress. So he's a young guy farming by himself, like took over the family farm, and he works as well. He's got a day job that he's able to work from home, and saying a lot. But he's right there on the farm, like he can work when he needs to work. And the vermiculture, yeah, that's another excellent way to increase soil nutrition. Some weeks ago, I was talking about the off-grid housing solution that I was considering. I don't think that's a possibility at this point, but the guy who's running that off-grid co-op, farming co-op, he's like the worm guy. Like he's literally his customized license plate is something like that, worms or worm guy or worm dude or something. And he showed me his operation, and it's pretty slick, and he's able to sell buckets of worms for pretty decent monies. So there's something to that as well. We've got lots of earthworms around here. I don't know if necessarily it's the red wrigglers that are the prized ones, but yeah, just for those of you new maybe tuning in, there was a cabin available at this off-grid farm co-op about 10 miles away from here, and it looked like it might be a possibility to move in there this fall, but I just don't want to be around here anymore, so I don't think it's available anyway. But that farm co-op has been going on since the 1980s. And I guess the sad thing is what you want to see is intergenerational or multi-generational continuity. And a lot of the original pioneering members, they've moved on. And the kind of people moving in now, it's like they're treating it as a cottage property, you know, a getaway from the city, or they've got jobs in the city and they're not really contributing to the farm co-op other than their little garden plot that they may have. But it's like there's no cooperation going on in the cooperative. Everybody's just kind of doing their own little thing. So everything's rather small scale. It's a nice place. Very chill, very laid back, but it's kind of if that's something I wanted to do, like I'd want to be able to make a quote unquote living doing that. So there's marketing involved, there's production involved, but it doesn't seem to be very production focused. It's just sort of a group of people living in the bush in their own little cottages. It's almost like a subdivision, and that's not a critique, but I've been watching kind of these cooperatives and off-grid communities and community living, and I don't see that there's that continuity where it just sustains itself for long periods of time. It's usually a one generation thing. The people that have the vision, it's hard to transfer the vision to the next generation or to new people. And then you got to have good management skills, because politics are, when you're dealing with people, there's always going to be issues and things that need settling, and rules and whatnot, some form of governance. So it's as intriguing as it sounds. I see the downside of it, and I'm convinced the way to go is people living on their own land, privately held, privately owned, and working cooperatively with people nearby in their community, neighbors, and just having that support system. That's the true parallel system. I think private ownership is kind of the key there, rather than cooperative community ownership or community organization. That's just my take on it. I've been kind of not going deep into analyzing it, but seeing things for about the last 20 years and hearing stories about, well, this thing started up in the 90s or started up in the early 2000s, and after 15 years it all fell apart. It's like I'm not convinced that I would want to put a lot of energy into that. So Walmsley's Wiggly Worms. So we got some worm farmers here. Excellent. So okay, let's go see what that tire is doing. Just for argument's sake, let's assume it's been submerged. Where you guys were here. Let's check the pressure on this again. A little bit out of the valve stem itself. Better. Probably should have put a little bit of grease on those tiny little O-rings. This metal one's not going to go in there. There's a plastic one I got around here somewhere, probably by the tractor. So let's walk on over to the tractor. Hold the tire in one hand, hold you guys in the other. So the hub and so we got these little clips with a bolt. So the hub is not high enough to slip that on there. I got to raise the axle a little bit. The jack I got under the axle is not high enough, but as the rim sits on this portion here, these clips just hold the rim in place. So maybe let's try to fire it up, see if I could use the loader to raise it. I had tried starting it up again at the end of the night last night, but didn't want to go, so I might not have enough juice in the battery to get it done, but believe me, it did start yesterday. On. I didn't check the battery voltage to see if there's enough juice. Yeah, I told you it starts up easy. So the knock, wasn't able to hear the knock just now. It seems it comes after the engine's a little on the warm side. So now this should be plenty high to get this on here. What happened to that one nut? I'm gonna put this jack back under here. Block under there as well. I don't want to rely just on the hydraulics. Here it is. So this slot in here is square, and so the bolt has got a square head. So there, and it doesn't spin in that little gallery. 3 nuts, 5. There we go. Let's go on like this. Correctly. Yes. Clip it on. Stubborn. And then it's essentially self-centering. So nothing to deal with there. I guess the only consideration is to keep the valve stem away from one of those clips. All right, we'll grab the air line and then we'll hammer these on. Five-eighths on the impact. Just go slowly, snug them down first. In reverse. Try again. Live stream mechanic fail. Nope, we got lots of gas dripping out of that car. I think there's an issue with the float. It tends to deal with itself once I've been running it for a while. Just from my experience. Gonna go crazy with that as far as torquing. All right, let's see if we can just lower it without turning it on. Jack out. fumbling with the jack. Okay, let's try to start it up again. Oh, missed it. Okay, can't seem to lower the jack. Oh yeah, because it's all askew. All right, still going live here. Try and fire it up one more time here. Well, I guess it's drained sufficiently, but I'll do that off camera. I'll get that back on the ground. Maybe it's gonna hold air, so maybe the cheap fix is sufficient. I think that'd be great if it was. So maybe I'll charge up that battery. I guess I could have done that overnight as well. But it was just so crazy hot yesterday. It's hard to get motivated to do much around here. So I'll wipe my hands off. That sure would be nice if somebody bought me a coffee. There you have it. So let's see here. Night crawlers, if I were to move to a remote cabin someplace, Sasquatch research, okay, I'm with you so far. Create, if I were you, oh, if you were me. Okay, now you lost me. So move off grid, remote cabin someplace, start doing Sasquatch research. Sorry. Okay, sounds interesting. Create YouTube videos. Ever seen channel homesteading off grid? I think so. I mean, there's tons in that genre. Am I still alive or did we freeze up? No, we're still alive. Hey, welcome in, Mr. Osgood. Have a good day, Dad. You have to take your grandson to work. Cool. I've heard of it. Yeah, I love work, especially hard work. I could watch it all day. Where the fork does that attach to the axle? Yeah, I think the Massey is kind of a peculiar size rim and size tire, and that axle was actually used on other implements that Massey manufactured. So I guess they had warehouses of them full, and so they incorporated them into their front axle configuration. So if you're not working on a Massey, I wouldn't assume that your tractor is the same. But it's a pretty slick system for getting tires on and off. You know, there's variations on a theme, but the Massey rim specifically is kind of unique to Massey from what I understand. So somebody can correct me if I'm way off on that. It'll hold, it'll change your life. You've been sneezing just watching this. Well, I try not to work too hard on camera, just because I know there's sensitive viewers like yourself. But there you have it. That's the wrenching for the day. So now I just gotta do a little bit more monkeying around to keep that thing running. And maybe I'll pull it up here a little closer and see how it's driving. Make sure I can drive it on. Like, there was nothing wrong with the transmission or the clutch, so it should just pull up here. But if I get it closer, if I park it right over here, then whatever further work I do on it, I could do it without being interrupted by live stream glitches or the stream just freezing up. And now what else is new? Yeah, I told you guys about this camper I was considering, this 78 Dodge. So I'm gonna follow up with that, but then I was looking at some slide-in camper units just for the back of the 1-ton there. And that's probably all that I need, just traveling by myself. And so that's a possibility as well. I saw a nice one on Marketplace. It's a ways out there. I gotta travel to go look at it, but. And then there's the fifth wheel option if I really wanted to live in luxury. I found a pretty well-priced, 16 or 19 foot fifth wheeler, very nice condition. Yeah, Sasquatch research from a camper. I mean, that's, talk about living the dream, right? Am I right? Or am I right or am I right? It's just, you know, you need a place to park it. So but that would allow me to bomb around town just in my pickup truck if I had a place to park the camper. And then depending after my journeys are done, whether I keep the camper or just sell it. So I'm toying with that idea. And just my thought process is, it's sort of like, there's the analytical part. It's like, what's the best value? What's the best option? But then there's always that, what feels right? What's the right deal? I'm always looking for that what's the right deal, including like the seller. Are these sellers people I want to transfer the monies that are in my pocket into their pocket? School bus with a turbo Cummins, no, that for my trip, I don't think that would be practical. If I had a lot of stuff to move and I was just making an outright move, I could see that being an option. But a school bus, I don't know. I've seen those builds. I mean, those take months, if not years, to get them where you want to be. And then if you buy a used one, I mean, they need a safety and all that. Like that 78 Dodge, like I need to get a safety inspection just to put it on the road. Whereas with a trailer, I don't think I need that. With a slide-in camper, I don't need that. But that 1/5 wheeler, like, it was small enough that I could pull it comfortably, like still get some fuel economy. It would handle nice, and it's got the space inside, and it looks very well maintained. So unless there's some fatal water damage, which in the photos I've seen, it looks like a nice tight unit. Same with that slip-in camper for the box. That one, the one I've seen a couple of them, but the one I was looking at this morning looked good. And that 78 Dodge, it's got character. Let's just put it that way. It's not the prettiest. It's not that I need pretty, but it would need like a good deep cleaning to get it into a place where I'd feel comfortable in it. So that's where I'm at. I've got a couple of weeks yet to decide on that. As I said, that's always kind of a factor. Like, what's the right deal? And if I'm patient, in my experience, I've found if I exercise some patience, that near perfect deal tends to just fall into my lap. I like doing it like that. It's a little not stress or anxiety, but it's like, you know that you got to get it done. And it's not procrastination. It's like, I still haven't seen that perfect deal yet. And so when the perfect deal appears, it's like, you know it. And those are the ones I jump on. So all I've seen are pictures and online ads. I have seen the 78 Dodge in person. That one's got some good vibes on it. You know, that whole deal. Yeah, we do things as quickly as possible here. No messing around. I was talking. I haven't talked to my agent in about over a week, but last time I said, like, I really want to thank you for getting this place sold in a week, like you said you were going to get it done. Like, I'm impressed. Like, that's exactly what I needed. I didn't want the place sitting on the market for a month or 2 months, or now Christmas time rolls around, place still hasn't sold, because I wanted to get every last dollar. I told him what I wanted. He said, here's how we can get that. Because I probably could have sold it for more. If I had all the time in the world, I could live in this place for a while yet. But if it hadn't sold by September, I'd kind of be thinking, you know, nobody's going to be looking at this place for a better dollar, because it presented well in June or July when we had it listed. You know, the garden was all green, and you know, it was the peak time of year to be viewing a property like this. Whereas once fall time comes and that cold chill in the air, and yeah, the chickens are gonna miss me. Yeah, it just gets hard to sell. So I didn't want to be sitting on this till next spring. But yeah, I told the guy, it's like, excellent job, excellent. I was so pleased with that. The auction is working. It's a lot of work. I was hoping to get everything moved off the property by other people, but whatever. I got another load for the trailer, and then I'll return that, and then I'll be borrowing a dump truck just to get rid of the debris that needs to be hauled to the dump. And that's about it. There's a few articles left in the house that I need to figure out how to deal with. It's just a matter of timing. Because at the auction mart, a lot of stuff is sitting outside. So I've got some nice furniture that I don't want to have to worry about tarping and making sure it doesn't get damaged if it rains. We're supposed to be getting some pretty decent rain in the next week or so. So the stuff I've hauled over there, it's tarped and covered, but until auction time, it's kind of just sitting on pallets in the yard there. So there's no big warehousing. So I gotta protect it as best I can, so that it all maintains its integrity on sale day, which is September 20th. And I'll be promoting that too. I got the suggestion that I could let the viewers know about the auction. So there's a website where the auction items will be listed, and so we could promote that. It's Global Auctions or something, or Global something or other. I don't have the links for that yet, but you know, viewers can spread the word. I mean, I don't know that I have a lot of viewers in my area, but if there's people that know people that are interested in auction items, I could always use social media to go by word of mouth and spread the word that way, get a good turnout. And that's where we're at. So the rest of the day, I'm gonna think about loading up that trailer, maybe taking some of my garden equipment, some small engines and stuff, clean out the garage a little more, some of the bulkier items, get that out of the way. And then, depending on the heat, decide how much effort I'm willing to expend today, because that heat just wiped me out, especially Saturday. Friday and Saturday were crazy. I took a load Friday. It was sweltering hot. Same with Saturday, just sweltering hot. I wanted to do a live stream Saturday night to deal with the tractor a little bit more, maybe deal with that tire, but I was just spent. And then yesterday, like I say, I was just sweating my way around the yard, trying to recuperate a little bit. That took a lot of juice out of me. And then, yeah, the day is coming when I say goodbye to the chickens and goodbye to the kittens, and just be me and old Maximum here. Right, boy? Yeah, he doesn't care. So I think we're done for this morning. Because I got to go have a coffee break. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. It's still early. yeah, coffee break till around noon, and then figure out what the rest of the day is going to look like. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll keep you apprised on any progress or lack thereof. Happy long weekend to everybody who's not laboring on Labor Day. I hope you're all getting refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to hit the ground running tomorrow and go back to whatever it is you do. And that's it. So yeah, I'll start looking for some more music purchases. Maybe have some more vinyl reveals, some vinyl hauls to show you, some interesting deals online. But that's another video for another day. So we'll call this one done. And have a good one, everyone.